Hi, and welcome, and happy Thanksgiving Day. I hope it's a great day. I hope you got a lot to be thankful for. And if you don't think you do, sit down, take a minute, have a cocktail, and decide that you do and figure out what that is and be thankful for it. It is I, Rocket Man. This is The World According to Rocket. And this episode is brought to you by, is Lane Kiffin going to Auburn or not?
Broadcasting live from the only establishment in town that can't kick him out. His own basement. The World According to Rocket.
And if you're new here, you've not been to this channel, hey, thank you. I appreciate it. If you'd consider subscribing, I would really appreciate that. But I'm thankful for your presence either way. There is a tweet earlier in the week that said, breaking from a fellow by the name of John Sokoloff. He's a blue check, so it must be true. It's just breaking. Ole Miss head coach Lane Kiffin plans to step down as the Rebels coach on Friday. That's tomorrow, after the Egg Bowl today, and head to Auburn to become the Tigers' next head coach. Sources say the Tigers haven't officially offered the job to anyone yet. So this guy Sokoloff is saying, so Lane to Auburn is happening. Story soon. Now, that may be a little crazy to think, but not so fast. Let's look at it, right? Kiffin has a whirlwind journey of just leaving everywhere he goes after 3 years. Either he's invited to leave or he leaves on his own. Al Davis hired him as a coach at the Raiders, Oakland Raiders, one of the biggest brands in the NFL, at least until he got a hold of it. He got that job when he was 31. He flamed out after a couple of years. He then took his dream job at Tennessee. And like all great men with superb character and integrity, he left in the middle of the night after that season and went to USC because that was his dream job. He stayed there for 4 years and was fired on the tarmac, I believe at Arizona State University there in Phoenix. And then things got so bad, Nick Saban took him on as an offensive coordinator. And he did that for a couple of years. Then he became the coach of Florida Atlantic for 3 seasons. Then Ole Miss hired him in 2020. And guess what? He is just now completing his 3rd season. And all the media, all the sports media is talking about there's an opening at Auburn and he wants to upgrade his situation. And he is going to leave Ole Miss today. Or after the Egg Bowl, not today, but tomorrow, and go to Auburn. Now, he says, Well, he hadn't really said, has he? But he did do this. He left this just going through some late night reading at Ole Miss football. And he's reading up on the Egg Bowl, which is today in Oxford. The big question is, will his team play for him with all of this madness and chaos going on? Okay, let's get to it. It's the Egg Bowl 2022 style. Let's look at the Big Boss Daddy College football computer. Yeah, I named it. I'm proud of it. All right, according to the power ratings, Ole Miss is like a 1.5 point favorite here. Right, which is not much. That's essentially a push. You add 2 to 3 points for home field advantage, and you got about a 4 point favorite, right? The Vegas line opened at 5.5 for Ole Miss. A lot of people took Mississippi State and 5.5. So much that Vegas is trying to sell you Ole Miss today at -2.5. We'll talk about why that is here in a minute. What I like to do is look at the offense efficiency versus the defense efficiency, right? Ole Miss has the advantage by 8% in that metric. And I look at them both ways. Offense for Mississippi State, defense, that's a grim number right there. Defense for Ole Miss. So Mississippi State has the advantage there. So, and the advantages, offenses versus defensive, are about the same for both teams. There is a fairly significant advantage in special teams. We'll see if that plays out in any way. When we look at the home and away metric, the computer spits out a score of 30-24 Ole Miss. 30-20 Ole Miss. When we look at the last three metric, it spits out 24-17 Ole Miss. All right? Now, I never take these numbers raw. I won't say never. Sometimes I do. But I rarely take them raw. These have to be adjusted. What adjusts them? I always take, number one, strength of schedule. I looked at strength of schedule, and interestingly, Mississippi State has had a tougher schedule than Ole Miss. I wasn't aware of that until I looked at this. All right? So that plays into a little bit how I would adjust these, right? The second thing I look at is defense, right? And by far and away, Mississippi State has the best defense. So this offense typically scores 35 points a game. But I'm going to take something away from that because this defense is stronger than your average Bear. All right? So what do I take away? Do I take away 3 points? Do I take away 7 points? Right? So I'm not really sure. I think about that, right? That's how I look at it. So I'm going to say 28 points. I'm going to take it away. So we're going to go 28, right? And now that brings this down to 28-20, right? Still in Ole Miss's favor. So I think Ole Miss is the favorite. The problem is this. Morale. All right? Why is Vegas? Why are they hating on Ole Miss so much? Why is that? Well, we talked about it. Because of the whole Auburn crap. That's what Kiffin brings. He's a brilliant football mind, but he's just nothing but, say it with me, chaos. I hope I spelled this right. That's Kiffin. Everywhere he goes, he's just a pain in the ass, and he is not worth the trouble. I'm from Memphis originally, and so I have a lot of friends in Mississippi, a lot of friends that go to Ole Miss, some friends that go to Mississippi State, and it's just... I told them 3 years ago when he came to, everybody was excited about Ole Miss. Oh, he's going to be great. He's going to be here forever. No, he's not. Sorry. He's going to be there for about 3 years, and then he's done. So, what do I think? I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be one of those games where whoever has the ball last is going to win. And I think wherever Kiffin's involved, there's always going to be some sort of controversy because that's what he does. That's part of his game plan. He has little tricks and things that he does. There will be controversy in this game. You watch what I tell you. And egg bowls are controversial anyway, historically. But I wish you both. I don't have a dog in this fight. I prefer Mike Leach. I like him a lot and can't stand Kiffin. But I really don't care who wins the football game. It'll be fun to watch. Ole Miss, he's going to break your heart. Whether he goes to Auburn or not, he's not going to be around much longer because he has reached his melting point. Ole Miss, Oxford, Mississippi, is not big enough for his ego. I thank you for watching the show. If you like the content I provide, I'd really appreciate you subscribing, hitting the like button, not all that crap that you have to say on a podcast and on a YouTube channel. Happy Thanksgiving. Later today at 5 o'clock Central, right before the Egg Bowl, I'll be doing a live. I hope you'll join me just to meet some new friends, just to talk about the channel, just talk about what you'd like to see on this channel, and we'll go from there. 5 o'clock Central Time.
Rock the